Hello and welcome to Baring the List, my ongoing video series where I use Tier Maker, who are not a sponsor, but they could be. Get at me, Tier Maker. I use that site to rank things. Now, sometimes I make my own list. Sometimes I do lists that have been suggested by folks in the comments. So comment below if you've seen something on Tier Maker you'd like me to do, or if you have an idea for one you'd like me to do, and I'll do it. And sometimes I go and find my own, like this one, which is Shonen Protagonists. This is not every Shonen protagonist that's ever existed. There are shows that you're not seeing here. We don't have Shinji in this list, for example, but there's many others that have not been featured because the world of Shonen is vast. We don't have Fire Force represented here either, but we do have a whole lot of Shonen protagonists. So I'm going to try to get through them. I said in the Oreo video that I was going to do a couple short ones. This is not a short one. Of course, we're ranking S, A, B, C, and D. Let's get started with Himura Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin. Now, I know when I did the Toonami rankings, I received a comment that the commenter could not separate the art from the artist, could not separate the creator of Rurouni Kenshin and his fucking bullshit with Kenshin, the character. And I respect that and understand that. And I appreciate it. For me, right here, right now, Kenshin rules. In the manga, in the anime, in the OVAs, Samurai X, like, Kenshin rules. Now, it's been done plenty of times before and after. The seemingly mild-mannered, kind of jovial, maybe even a little, silly main character is actually a secret badass. And I may dock other characters for that, but I will be biased when I say that Kenshin is the first one that I ever really loved. Kenshin maybe also slightly before or slightly after Vash's Stampede, who is not on this list because I don't know. I think it's a sci-fi show. I don't know if it's a shonen. That's just I don't think Trigun counts. But Vash certainly had that. Although the light switch happened the switch flipping happened far less in that than in Kenshin. But it's also, it's a broad story. I think Kenshin is just trying to do right and trying to live and be and make up for, what he's done. And be a better and be a full, complete person. He is attempting to be a person, which some of these protagonists aren't fully fledged people. So it's hard because I love it, but also, as I said, creator is not great, and fuck it. It'd be easy if we had Aaron on here from Attack on Titan. It'd be easy to throw that in D because I don't think Attack on Titan is good. Plus the creator's thoughts. So I'm gonna put Kenshin at A. He can't be S tier. Kenshin, if I didn't know, you'd be S tier, but I do know, so you're A tier. So I had to look up this character's full name. This is Sakata Gintoki from Gintama. I knew his name wasn't Gintama, but I didn't know the Sakata part. I'm going to do my best to do family name first. In the cases where that is appropriate, there are a couple characters here that they're not Japanese, it's not in Japan, or we only know one of their names. But I will attempt to do that where properly applicable. So in this case, Gintoki, I don't think Gintama is that great. I think whereas Kenshin, as I just talked about, this kind of like, oh, I'm goofy, but I'm actually serious. I don't love that play there because Gintama, is it a parody of anime? And is it a parody of shonen? Or is it a shonen that can't stand on its own merits and has to use parody and comedy, broad comedy, and specific comedy, to mask the fact that it's not a very good show? I would pose it's the latter. I'm putting him in C. Does he have moments where he shines and he's brutal and great and a fantastic fighter? Yeah. But do they let any of those sit before they pull the rug underneath you? No. I don't like it. And it's only because he has some cool moments that he's in C. We've got Gone Freaks from Hunter x Hunter. The X is silent, and it's also not cross. This is Hunter x Hunter. Gone Freaks. So here's the thing about Gone. I very much appreciate the fact that Gone is a selfish jerk, because Shonen often does not give us that outlet to think about these characters as anything but their most noble and heroic versions of them. But Hunter x Hunter makes a point. When he, seemingly, he pushes Killua aside to go on his own bloodlust, we feel for Killua. We don't side with Gon. We side with Killua. I used to think, oh, well, Kill is actually the main character because he's the interesting one. But that's actually not even true, because Gon isn't the main character anymore. The anime is the anime, but the manga, which has continued past the anime, is not a spoiler to tell you that Gon is not the main character and has not been the character for quite some time. So he's the main protagonist for a lot of the series. He's selfish. The whole show exists only because he just kind of wants to know why his dad abandoned him. Not that he's mad at him. He just wants to understand why being a hunter is so cool. And then he kind of gets he gets involved in some stuff. And some of the stuff is heroic and awesome. But yeah, Gon's like B tier. It's just kind of a selfish. Meh. And especially, where I am going to compare him to modern Shonen, because we're going to talk about good boys, and Gon is not a good boy. So there you go. Naruto. Naruto's S tier. Look, you can think whatever you want about it. You don't agree with me? Fine. This is my tier ranking list. We are 7-ish minutes in, and we have many, many good boys and girl to talk about. But I'm going to tell you right now, that's an S tier right there. As Shonen protagonist, never gives up. Overcomes adversities constantly. Is he trying to prove himself? Yes. Does he even understand what he's trying to prove? In some ways, no. But he wants to be accepted because he has been unfairly maligned. And there are people that don't even know why they look down on him. They just do. And he has to work harder than everybody else. And another orphan and loner who should be his, legitimate, they should have camaraderie. It takes forever to get that. And we're not talking about Sasuke and how there's so many better versions of Sasuke out there. We're just talking about Naruto. It's Uzumaki Naruto. He rules. S tier. Joining him at S tier, that's right, one of the newest kids on the block. I don't even know. Demon Slayer, one of the newer kids on the block in modern shonen, and part of that good boy generation of modern shonen. Oh, that's right. Yes, there's only been one season. We're getting a movie very soon. That's right. We're putting Kamado Tanjiro in from Demon Slayer in the S tier. Oh boy, talk about going from zero to hero. Is he as strong as other characters? Is he an overpowered main character? The central, strongest character in the show? No. And he doesn't have to be. He shouldn't be the strongest and best. He should struggle. And we should want him to win, because he's got a very simple, sad existence, and he's got a simple goal, and we want him to achieve that goal. His goal is not to be the best Demon Slayer. His goal is to help his sister. And he's learning. And he's changing the people around him, which is, to me anyway, a super important part of modern shonen. If your character growth also encourages others to grow and to change and to go for the better, then you're a true S tier shonen character. Because I didn't even mention about Naruto, how not only did he get the village to accept him, he changed in generations of people for the better. So I'm putting him in there. And I would love to put Asta in S tier. Asta, who has no last name, born an orphan. Asta is A tier because his voice is, he's just loud and annoying. But that's the only thing keeping him out of the S tier, the top tier. Because he is so loving and he cares so much. He has such empathy. He has empathy for his enemies, and it doesn't cost him yet. It hasn't. It's been harder and slower, his progress. He's trying to be the Wizard King, the ultimate magic knight. He has no magic. He's the only magic knight without magic. He has anti-magic. And he's incredibly positive, goofy, loud, boisterous. He's not the tactician of the battlefield. The love he has for his, orphan brother. They're not brothers, but they're brothers. With who, even if he picks on him, cares about him, obviously and clearly, to the annoyance of some people. He doesn't look down on Asta. He respects him as his rival. There's a lot of great rivalry in there, and you see the actual families and their dynamics. How some of them are great and some of them aren't, and the found family, and how Asta has literally changed the course of a bunch of other misfits. This found family, the Black Bulls, are incredibly close together and have grown, and it's sending ripples throughout. Fuck it. It's my list. I'm putting Asta at S tier. Asta, you're going up to S tier. Even if you are loud, and that is the reason why people dropped that show after a couple episodes because they couldn't take how he yells all the time. He's a good boy, and I love him. Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. Edward Elric is that category of shonen. So shonen characters often, destiny calls upon them to make their moves, or a bunch of bullshit happens and they have to step up because, their parents died or whatever. And to be true, his mother did pass away. But the Elric boys caused their own mess. And yes, there's a bigger mess going on. And maybe if they hadn't caused their own mess, they wouldn't have been to help with this bigger mess. Or maybe it's the sins of their father that lead them to eventually having to do this, and would they be ready for it? I don't know. All I know is I like the brothers. I like them. A tier. It's A tier. So I feel bad about talking about Emma from The Promised Neverland. Another character, another orphan, another only first name. Because I can't, man, it's the suspenseful shonen show and female lead, which is so rare, and it's not garbage, but this thing where I'm just like, man, I can't watch it. The suspense of what's going to happen to these children, I can't. But I know you love her. I know you out there who like this show love her, and how she's determined and cares and is smart and clever and going for it, as you're just into it. So put her in A. But I can't really rank her too well because I don't know enough about her. But we're going to go with A. Goku. Son Goku, I should say. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super. So Goku doesn't often cause the problem. Sometimes the problems arise because he is Goku and people want to fight Goku. But he does make things worse quite often. He does have the habit of just wanting to fight because he is a shonen protagonist that, yes, he is often pushed by revenge, but he is mostly pushed by his desire to fight stronger people. So once he's beaten somebody, he's bored, and then he wants to fight other people. And he has literally put the very dimension he lives in, not just the planet, the dimension he lives in, at risk to fight strong people. It's hard. It's hard. Uh, I'm gonna put him at B. He's a B shonen protagonist. You know, to me, I gotta want to know more about the main character. I gotta want to love the main character. I don't care about Goku as much as I care about other characters in the show. I don't care about Goku as much as I care about Krillin or Gohan. So that's why I'm putting a B. And here's the thing: you can look at the A's above him. I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be an A coming up here, and you're going to look at that A and you're going to be like, you think he's a better protagonist than Goku? And I'm going to say yes. So there we go. Let's move on. It's our boy. I want to Jotaro. I always want to say just Jotaro, but he's got a family name. It's Kujo from his dad that we've never met. Who's Japanese, so he's grandpa. Not happy about that. Mostly not happy about that because Holly moved to Japan and he didn't get to be with his daughter, Holly, who is Jotaro's mom. But also some racism. Let's be real. But Jotaro. So, Jotaro is from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Parts 3 and on. I would say that when we meet Jotaro, he's just a delinquent who's learning about stuff and is just really strong and doesn't have that much of a character. Later, in Diamonds Are Unbreakable, we learn more about him, and I like him more. He is certainly one of the toughest, but does he have things going on in his life? Apparently, he does. We don't see those things. Does he care about people and encourage people? Yes. Would I put his older brother, his uncle, yeah. Would I put his uncle, his uncle who's younger than him, above him? Yeah. So I'm going to put him in B. Well, you got me light. I'm putting in D tier. Think that Yagami sucks. I think that Light is a shitty character in a shitty anime and manga. I think Death Note sucks and he sucks. It is, some people like to say that this is, this idea that a rich, well-off, and genius who is bored gets this weapon, and it's a sense of justice that's twisted, and isn't that an interesting take on Shonen? The thing is, it's not a take on Shonen. It's just an edgelord. It's just following the villain and saying that he's the main character being the antagonist. It's not good. It's bad. Sorry, it is. It's not a good program. All right, let's jump back to another good boy, part of the modern good boy genre here, because we're going to talk about Midoriya Zuku from My Hero Academia. Deku, right there. Deku is S tier. You knew I was going to put him in S tier. He's part of the good boy squad. The good boy squad goes in S tier. 100% the good boy squad belongs there. No doubts about it. No ifs, ands, or buts. He's destined. He wanted to be a hero so bad but he didn't cheat his way into it. He worked hard, and yes, he was given a gift, but that gift is hurting him. He's hurting himself. And he is hurting people around him who love him. But he's also inspiring them and changing them. And pretty recently in the season, he says, if I can't help one little girl right now, how am I supposed to help the world? I'm paraphrasing, but that's the idea. Wants to think locally, act globally, be the best version of himself, be a hero, and he is inheriting the symbol of peace, and and only a few people know that, and he's got to do whatever he can to do that and continue the mantle. And it rules. I'm so tempted to read the manga because I accidentally heard a big spoiler, and I'm interested in what that's going to be. But that's for another, thing. I had to look up this character's name because I couldn't remember it. But I should have because his name is Alan Walker, which is a great name for a shonen protagonist, Alan Walker from D Gray Man. So I'll admit, I don't know a lot about D Gray Man. I don't know a lot about Alan Walker. I know that there's a beautiful piano medley that shows up when people who play the piano and like anime want to play piano songs, and it has something to do with the story. I generally know that like there's people and they use a thing called innocence, which is part of the with the capital I, which is part of that part of anime that I dislike, where that's the thing where they just capitalize a letter of a common word and make that a thing that everyone agrees. Yes, that's what we're going to call this. Okay. And they got to fight the person who wants to end the world, and he fights people that can, whatever, and he tries, and he's trying to grow and do his thing, but also there's stuff inside that's bad, and the thing he's doing is probably bad for him, and maybe he's got like a secret destiny that's not good. I don't know, man. I'm putting him in C because I don't know enough about him, and I don't know anyone that's like D Gray Man. That's my shit. So you're going in C tier, buddy. I can't put you in D, but I can't rank you in B because I don't know you. So remember when I was like, hey, I'm going to put somebody in A, and you're going to be like, that person is better than Goku? Well, I am now doing it. I'm putting Natsu Dragon Eel in A tier. Natsu bridges the gap between good boy and selfish because he is often incredibly selfish. He is, he often lets his feuds, his interpersonal issues within the Fairy Tail Guild keep him from moving forward and doing everything he needs to do because he's often caught up in his own petty squabbles. But at the end of the day, when people that he cares about are hurt or or sad or whatever, he'll drop whatever he needs to do, he's doing, and help them. Is he mischievous? Yes. Is it poobery and annoying? Yes, that's a thing. It's the fairy tale, same person did Rave Master, so it's like, okay. But at the end of the day, this is a dude with some dang destiny that says, yeah, I don't care about that. I care about my friends and my family, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make that work out. And yeah, is he silly? Sure. Is he a good boy? He's getting there. He's not really, but he might be. But he's a tough guy, and I like him a lot. Fairy Tail. It ended so good, y'all. I know you didn't watch the end of Fairy Tail, but it ended really well. The anime wrapped up in a really nice way for a lot of cool characters. It's good times. Anyway, okay, we're gonna talk about Mob Kageyama Shigo from Mob Psycho. I mean, you knew this. Oh, look, it's the good boys. The good boys are all S tier with Naruto, who is not fully a good boy because of the original Naruto, less Shippuden, but the original Naruto, where he is annoying, certainly, but he's still great. Anyway, I want to talk about Mob. He's just the best boy. He just cares. He's so scared of hurting people with his abilities and doing it for personal gain. He's grown. The second season is incredible. He grew so much. He's such a good character. He's a fantastic character, and you see people around him growing and changing, which, as I said, is part of the modern era of shonen, of just this person that's like changing the wills of those around him. Excellent. I'm sorry. I am going to speed through some of this here. We are almost at a half an hour. We do have a few boys left here, so let's kind of get through some of these. So Yami Yuki, this is Yami Yuki pictured here. Muto Yuki from Yu-Gi-Oh. Here's the thing. I like Season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though I like the card game, I don't really like Duel Monsters. I don't think the story is that engaging. I think the minor characters, unless they are villains who become heroes, don't get to do anything or be anything outside of Joey. And as soon as you turn good, you fade away and you're not really there because they just got to deal with all these other villains. Uh, yeah, it's not my favorite. And we don't know about anything about Yami for a real long time, and Yugi doesn't go through any growth or change at all in the series. Yami somewhat does. Uh, yeah, this is B tier. This is B tier. Iconic, but not as a protagonist. Iconic because it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, so Saitama. We do not know anything else about Saitama's name, which is known Saitama from One Punch Man. Obviously, Saitama. Now, this you're talking about. One sort of Death Note being not really a take on Shonen. This is a take on Shonen and superhero. The very nature of it. Do I think the second season is that great? Not really. Do I think the first season is really good? Yes. I think that Saitama is an interesting character. The idea of we start with where shonen protagonists often end. Now, obviously, not with fame and acclaim, but like he's already too strong for the show he's on. He didn't get there, and then the power creep, and they have to jump up everybody else. You're never going to have a time dash in One Punch Man because you don't need to power up the characters for the new big bad. He just is. He just is. So they have quiet moments. Kind of look at that, and other characters can go through personal growth. And that's why I actually think it's interesting when you have like the hero killer, like kind of idea, which it's not new, but why they focus so much on the growth of a character that just wants to fight heroes is because there's this inherent need in a shonen to have characters grow and change. And Saitama doesn't grow and change. In fact, he just regresses into sadness because he becomes melancholy about the idea that he doesn't have anyone worthy of fighting. That's why he joins the martial arts tournament. He's interesting. It's a really interesting character. So I'm going to put him in A tier. I think there, like at the very least, he is an interesting character, and they are trying to, and the show is trying to, and manga is trying to explore that. So I appreciate that. Yukihiro Soma from Food Wars. So I didn't, yeah, I mean, Food Wars is a shonen. Yeah, I mean, it is battle. It's battling. That young boys will enjoy. Oh boy, I hope young boys don't. They do. They do read it, don't they? Ugh. So, I think that this current season, I wish I had maybe done this before this current season started, because I actually think this current season is not good. I do not care about anything that's happening in it. If Megumi wasn't in it, I might tune out because like, Megumi is one of my favorite supporting characters in a shonen. Soma. Soma is selfish, certainly. Is growing and changing, but not his personality, just like getting better at what he wants to do. He wants to, hone his skills and become a better chef. And then he has challenges that he needs to do, and he needs to help people. He helps to help his friends. And stop the people that are preventing him from doing the thing he needs to do. And then he's got a weird interpersonal relationship with ostensibly the love interest of the series, where he's not really interested in, being with her so much as, well, he wants to take advantage of the fact that she's got the god tongue, and and then also the other B. I don't hate Soma, but he's definitely not A tier. He steps up when he needs to, but he's okay. So where do I put Kurosaki Ichigo? Bleach is hard because Bleach the show, I just eventually was like, it's not Ichigo's fault that he's in a bad show. Or he's in a show that went off the rails, that the anime made worse and worse and worse, and then the manga was like, oh, well, I can make this worse too. Don't worry. I've got this grand reveal that's coming out. The character doesn't go through any growth. We're just going to reveal more backstory about what the character is to make him more awesome. Because the internal struggles that happen are interesting. and the powers that he has, and the choices that Ichigo makes, who, just trying to protect his, family, and then friends, and then the world. A lot of stuff happens to Ichigo, and he does step up, and sometimes he doesn't succeed. But yeah, I mean, the biggest issue for Ichigo is that he's in Bleach, and he's not, it's not written well. But he's an interesting character, and I will say this: it's the only anime character, one of the only I'll say, that has a ripping awesome theme. Some of these characters have great themes. I think Kenshin has some great music when it's time to go. I think we're going to talk about another character later. Great music when it's time to go. Bleach, has some great music in it, and Ichigo's theme, number 1, is really good. So I'm going to put Ichigo in B because I can't put him in A because I just think that the show's not great. Yeah. Yeah. Luffy is A tier. One Piece is an epic. It is enormous. It is unbelievable. Monkey D. Luffy is a fun character, a serious character. This is another thing where the show is just paced, especially the anime specifically, is just paced so slowly that he doesn't get to do things. You know, I think cares about his crew, but not enough. He's not a good boy. He's not from that era. I'm not expecting him to be that. But he fights really fun. He's playful. Lots of nonsense. Good times. Bad times. It's Luffy. I'm going to put him at A tier. So here's another show that I never finished the show because I didn't like Noragami. And this Yato. And I was like, I guess this is a shonen. Yeah, I guess it's a shonen. Is down on his luck, unknown god that's trying to get the people to like him and be accepted and be praised in a world that doesn't really pray to gods, and so he's certainly not in a great spot. And there's a lot of sadness and a lot of shit that happened and a lot of issues, and he's, lots of people don't like what he's up to and what he did and what he's doing now, and it's like C tier. I stopped watching it. I didn't like it. And then Yusuke. So I'm going to talk this out before I decide if Yusuke goes up to S tier or not. Because can I recognize that Yusuke breaks some of my own guidelines about what S tier is? And the fact that he is an incredibly selfish character. And not necessarily the nicest. But he cares about his friends a lot. And he respects. That's the thing. Ugh. So, like, Goku respects power. Like, oh, you're strong. But Yusuke respected, like, hey, we're fighting, but, like, we don't need, after this, we could go hang out. Like, you think about, like, Chu and some of the other characters in the Dark Tournament, where he's just like, I like what you're up to. I like this, Jin and a few other characters. He's just like, yeah, we could hang. We could definitely hang. I like that. I think that's fun. It's an interesting story. The story starts, with him dead, which is just a cool way to start a shonen. And, you're not meant to love him because he is a delinquent, but then you do love him because he's trying to do his best and trying to help people and his friends. And he cares about his friends so much. So even though he's a jerk with a heart of gold. And he also does that thing. So his thing isn't, I don't want to win. It's like, he does have that I don't want to win this way. It's not because I want you to be powerful. It's because I didn't beat you. Something took me over and beat you. And I think that's a different element. So that's why I'm going to put him in S tier. He's not a good boy, but he's good. He's a good boy. He's just not a good boy. Um, he's not part of the modern take on what it means to be a shonen protagonist. He's part of the golden age, right? He's part of that upper echelon, and you can see he's really, other than he and Naruto are the only two that made it to the top. Um, but yeah, we'll look at this. Is there anything I should change? Hey, in the comments below, if you made it through this whole video, hey, hell yeah, thank you for watching the whole thing. But leave a comment below. If you're like, I can't believe that you would put, you know, Ichigo so low, or Goku so low, or I can't stand Asta, or I've never watched an episode of Fairy Tail. I have no idea. Or, oh, you have to watch I don't know, any of these. Kenshin should be lower. Whatever you want to put in there. How come this list didn't have so and so? I told you I didn't make the list, so I didn't include your favorite shonen character that's not in this one. So I'm sorry. But yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If there's any, how you would do the list. If there's anything I messed up, or if you have ideas for future videos. This is a long one. This is one of my longest, but I wanted to do it. I like talking about anime, so I did another anime one. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next Baring the List. Goodbye.